Closed captioning is brought to you in part by Raven Reads. Unbox Indigenous voices. Subscribe today at ravenreads.org.
Hi, and welcome to Have a Chat. I am your host today, Veronique Arsenault, joined, of course, by my incredibly wonderful co-host, Judy Loziak.
Such a pleasure to be here with you and our viewers. It's a little bit of a gray Monday, but our sun is bright, so.
It is, and we're together again.
That's right.
We're together again.
It's like sisters.
I know. I love our Mondays. They're busy, just like everybody else, right?
Yes.
We're in that mode right now. Things are busy and hectic, and getting, thinking about winter.
Stop. Bad word. Keep
Terrible
moving.
word.
Keep moving.
Terrible word. But we're going to kick it off as we always do with a wonderful quote, which is actually a poem in this case.
It is a short poem, so I won't drag it out. I'll try to enunciate as best I can because it's quite lovely. The frost has touched the trees with gold, with crimson and with brown, and loosened from their summer hold. Ripe fruits come tumbling down. In sweeping flight towards southern strand, the birds of passage go, and soon must stretch on either hand wide wastes of ice and snow. But oh, these still fair autumn days, the blue hills of the noon, far fields that lie in smoky haze, at night the hunter's moon. All of these my soul will store to make my heart beat warm, when loud at window and at door knocks the wild winter storm. That is written by Cora A. Matson Dobson, who I'm not at all familiar with.
No, me either, but it was beautiful, kind of encapsulating all those wonderful things that come from fall, that to carry you over through the winter. Fall is actually my most favorite season.
Yes, I like it.
I love the colors. I love the cool nights where you can sleep and the warm days. Especially lately, we've been having incredible weather.
Beautiful weather, and this kind of encompasses all my thoughts about fall into one short poem.
Yeah.
You know, that we do have that beautiful moon at night. I was looking at it the other night thinking, what a night for a walk. And then last night was so foggy but warm out. And then the sun was shining on the weekend. So yeah, it's a mix of all of this.
Yeah,
I quite like it.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I quite like that as well.
Yeah.
And so not that long ago, so last weekend, we celebrated Thanksgiving.
I'm still full.
Yeah.
Oh, bad girl.
But it was delicious.
It was, and the thing about that is you have so much food that there are leftovers, so you're not struggling as to what to cook the next day, which is normally my dilemma is, what are we going to have tonight for supper that's different and not boring and not, so repetitive. I've really started to look at recipes a lot more and do some different things that I just was kind of like sitting on before.
Well, and that's the thing, and I've got fallen into that rut around, the Thanksgiving meal. I make the same things, although they're my favorite things.
Yes.
So it kind of brings that nostalgia and that warm winter hug kind of every time. But it's always great though to get some new recipes, especially thinking through fall. And we actually have a couple of interesting ones today to share.
We do. And so whatever you
kick it off
want to.
first.
Oh, you want to do the recipes now?
Yes, we'll do that.
Okay, so let me grab my little one. And people might just want to grab a piece of paper while I'm looking for this little one. It's right here. But if you have a piece of paper and a pen handy, that would be great. Otherwise, if you have a good memory, that's all you need.
Yes.
Okay. This is a Veggie Delight Dip, and I like it in the fall. It's easy, it's quick if you're having company or just sitting around watching a movie with your family, and the ingredients are so simple to get. Sometimes you're thinking, where am I going to get that item? And you can't find it, so it's like, okay, I have to leave that out of it. But this is it. You will need 1 bag of Tostitos scoops, the tortilla chip style, 1/2 cup of cream cheese softened, 1/2 cup of sour cream, 1 1/2 cup feta cheese crumbled. I know. 4 ounces of fresh spinach chopped, 1 large sweet onion finely chopped, 1/4 cup fresh mushrooms chopped.
Oh my.
Now, you're going to need 1 teaspoon of chopped fresh basil, 1 teaspoon of chopped fresh cilantro, 1 teaspoon of chopped fresh parsley, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. In a bowl, you combine your cream, your cheese, and your sour cream. Then you just add it all in, your feta, your spinach, your onion, your mushrooms, your basil, cilantro, parsley, salt, and pepper. Stir it gently until it's all combined, and then spoon the veggie mix into the tortilla scoops.
I'm starving now.
But that's
I
not
want
hard.
that.
That's an easy list, right? Cream cheese, sour cream, feta cheese, spinach, onion, mushrooms, and then your chopped basil, cilantro, parsley, salt, and pepper. Mix it all up, scoop it all in.
It sounds delicious.
Okay, I'm sure people caught that, and if not,
we'll post it on our Facebook page.
Great.
Yep, absolutely.
Yum, yum.
It sounds delicious, and it's absolutely something I'm going to make this weekend.
Yeah. What can we have? Do you have a drink to go with that?
I do, because of course we need to have drinks.
I like a nice fall beverage.
I know. And who doesn't love pumpkin pie?
Oh, I do.
I know. It's Mom's favorite.
Well, I don't love it. I like it.
Yeah, pumpkin pie is Mom's favorite.
With whipped cream?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in this case, we're going to do a pumpkin pie latte. I know, right? So, okay. So here we're going to, I'll share everything, and my mouth's already watering. So 2 cups of whole milk, 2 tablespoons of canned pumpkin. You can use canned pumpkin for a lot of things. Did you know that?
Yes.
Side note, so pureed canned pumpkin you can use when your pets, their tummies aren't feeling so good.
I do it.
If you feed them that canned pureed pumpkin, solely just that, it will help them it'll clear everything out.
I always have it in my cupboard.
Us too. Yeah, so back to the good recipe. So 2 tablespoons of sugar, 2 tablespoons of vanilla extract, a half teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice.
Okay.
Oh boy. And a half cup of hot brewed espresso.
Oh.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, I'm getting.
So the optional one here is whipped cream and pumpkin pie spice kind of, drizzled over top with some ground nutmeg. So now what you want to do is in a small saucepan, combine the milk, the pumpkin, and the sugar. Cook and stir it over medium heat until it's steaming. Remove it from the heat, stir in the vanilla and the pie spice. Oh my goodness. Transfer to a blender, cover, and process for 15 seconds until foamy.
Okay, I'm just, my mouth's watering
We
now.
like foamy. Foamy's good. Pour into 2 mugs, add the espresso, and garnish with the whipped cream and spices.
Okay, so that's for 2. So just double it up, folks, if you want a nice, drink for 4 people, and to go with my Veggie Delight scoops.
Well, I'm all about that.
Oh my God, I'm glad I ate lunch, Vero.
I know. Well, I had a granola bar before I headed over.
I know.
Yeah.
It's not enough. Not enough.
Now, so we're gonna eat these yummy things.
Yep.
Then we gotta look good.
Yeah, of course.
Right? We gotta look snazzy.
With our bibs on.
That's right.
Yes.
We gotta look snazzy. So what are we wearing this fall?
Look, and I want to tell everybody what the fashion is. We are well into the fall season, but it still is only mid-October. So here's a look at what is in style for fall, winter 22 and 23. 90s nostalgia. Well, let me talk about that. It's going to continue to influence autumn and winter with mood-boosting hues and gender-fluid tailoring. So they're talking about bright red.
Oh.
Do you do well in bright red?
I don't wear it often, but I do like the color.
Okay, it's one of my better ones. Illuminating yellow.
Yellow doesn't look so fabulous on me.
No. Okay,
especially in like the fall and winter when I'm so very pale.
Okay, I can do illuminating yellow, but there's also the beiges, which I absolutely die in. You're good?
Not great. I get very washed out.
And gray is popular.
Gray I wear a lot of.
All right, so those soft hues of gray, and then hot pink. Ooh, I do have a hot pink sweater. Chartreuse, which I'm okay in. But anyway, these are the 9 top style updates, okay? And I think, you know what I was happy about? That I checked when I was going through them. I thought, hey, I'm okay then. Wider, loose jeans.
Yes, thankfully.
All right, I know. The skinny jeans were for so long, ladies out there, and teenagers even, and if whatever age of a female you are, the wider, looser jeans are in style.
Great.
Loafers with attitude.
So funny enough, that is what I've been gravitating towards lately, not because I knew that I was supposed to be fashionable, but I love a great loafer. I love a comfortable shoe that still looks like you cared.
Well, I have one on, and I'm not going to hardly put my leg up, and cause a real sensation with my lovely legs here,
Yes.
but I do have a nice gold loafer on, so it's a shimmer. And then the other ones are like suede, like the velvety, crushed velvet ones, or suede, or something patent, or something with a bit of bling or stone, or just a little bit of clasps on it, like a little bit of a hook in the middle kind of thing.
Yeah.
Buckle?
Yeah.
Buckle.
Very
All
good.
right, so we're good on the shoes.
Yes.
A wear with boot dress. So a wear with boots dress. So I have lots of boots. And I have lots of dresses, but it depends on the style of the boot, like a fitted boot. So they're wearing them low to the ankle now with short skirts even.
Really?
Yeah, that's even
Okay.
one. Yeah, so a wear with boots dress.
Interesting. I have quite large calves.
Okay.
So it's really hard for me to find boots that fit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then again, if you have a dress, we're talking about any kind of dress in your closet, just try to find a boot that even comes to the ankle or a little.
Yeah, I have a couple.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
A leather or suede skirt.
Really?
I love.
Interesting.
I love. I dug out a couple.
Yeah.
You know what's in, and I bought it when I was in Quebec City. Funny enough, I thought I gravitated towards a section, a blue sweater.
Really?
A blue sweater is
Yeah.
something that they're saying really should be in your closet.
This year I love blue. It's actually blue and hot pink, oddly enough.
Nice.
And so I bought a pair of hot pink suede loafers.
Ooh, I saw those.
Hot pink suede loafers. And I love like a periwinkle blue.
Yeah, me too.
That is my favorite color.
Yeah, I have that for one of my car colors, and I actually like it too. It's different. A chic shirt jacket. So you know how the shackets were in style, like the shirt and
Yes.
jacket, they called them shackets, and that that's what they call them.
Really?
Because it's a shirt jacket combo.
Really?
So they call them shackets.
Okay.
Now they are still in, particularly the flannel plaid, and they're soft colors, the greens, the plums, the falls with the fall colors, burgundy and creams and greens. But now they're talking, and I have a couple of those, but what's in now and taking over from the shacket is not for me, quilted jacket. Not puffy, not the bomber style puffs, but quilted pattern.
yes.
And I find them older, ladyish.
Yes.
That's my thought.
Okay.
Okay. Slim straight pants, Veronique, are taking the place of leggings. So we're all about leggings. We all love the comfort.
Yes.
For the women watching out there, but like faux leather crops are in style. High-waisted pants with just a maybe straight down the leg, a little flare at the bottom. Something that if it's high-waisted, when you get your sweaters that are up a little bit above your midriff, you're not showing your belly.
Right.
Which I do not want to do at my age.
Nor mine.
Or and it goes well, like I said, when you have a crop top or something above the belt line. And something I have only 3 of in my entire closet are blazers.
I used to have a lot of them. I don't anymore.
Okay, but they're really big.
Really?
They're really, really big, and I'm not into them. And they're hugely popular. Are the baggy men-like blazers that are falling off you?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
No.
So
I like a fitted blazer.
Yeah.
I do.
So real quickly,
Yes.
Veronique, and I want to talk about your birthday as a follow-up thought. Okay, do not let me forget this. It's very important. For men, you're going to love this. My husband would rather probably not go outside if he had to wear any of these.
Yes.
Except for the first one, a camel top coat.
Oh.
Used to be gray, black, pea coats. My boys, my men all have black and charcoal top coats.
Yeah.
But this is camel. Real hot.
I really do enjoy a camel coat.
And it's really hot right now for men.
Yeah.
Extra cozy sweaters. I do not know. My husband's got nice dress sweaters, pullovers, but not these bulky, real fluffy, fuzzy
Right.
sweaters and cardigans.
Okay.
Okay, they're in.
Interesting.
Adidas, I don't even know what the heck Gazelle sneakers are. Do you? Adidas sneakers are in, but the Gazelle brand.
I'll have
her
to
name.
look that up.
Okay?
I'll have to look that up.
Guess what's in?
Oh, no.
Dad jeans.
Oh.
Oh, man. I'm not telling my 23-year-old.
Oh, dad jeans. Yeah. To go with the dad bod.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
And with those high top sneakers.
Really?
No. Can you see my husband in that? No. An elevated sweatsuit's really popular. So instead of your track suit, just your zip up, pants matching the jacket, now they're looking for a little bit of detail. So a little bit of maybe like suede at the cuffs, or like a little nice little logos
Interesting.
with some bling on the pocket, buttons, really deep pockets, baggy style track suits, but they're fancier.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Chiseled footwear, yuck. Instead of just a casual shoe, they're going with the chiseled look now, pointy.
Really?
Don't like.
No.
Nah. Dress shoes or casual shoes.
Really? On men, eh?
And And the best for the last, well, no, there's two. Trench coats are in for men.
Yes.
Double-breasted jackets, okay, for a lot of things, your sports jackets, your suits.
So like the 80s and early 90s.
Yeah, and the last but most gross thing, I'm sorry, there's two animal print guys. Not going to be in my house.
Yeah.
And overalls.
Oh, really?
How
We're going back to overalls?
sexy are overalls?
Oh.
I just can't. But if you have them out there, guys, wear them proudly.
I don't, yeah, no.
Oh,
Anyway,
gosh.
well, I mean, it is what it is.
Okay, so who had a beautiful big birthday on Friday night?
I did. So it's funny. I often say, and I mean this very truthfully, is that I don't feel my age.
You don't
right?
look your age.
So I often think I'm about 32 or 36.
Okay.
So I'm not. I've come to the realization I'm not. And it really was not bothering me whatsoever about my birthday coming up last Friday. So last Friday I turned 50.
I know.
And it really was not bothering me at all until I had to say it out loud on Friday. And I had to say, I'm 50. And I'm like, oh, that because people look at 50-year-olds differently.
Well, last year I had to say I'm 60. I don't lie about my age. If I
Me
pass
either.
away, it's going to be in the newspaper anyway. So why do people, again, I keep reiterating this point, why do people lie about their age? It's vanity.
I don't know.
Absolutely vanity.
Yeah, so it did give me a little like a hiccup, hesitation when I had to say out loud that I was 50. Simply because people do look at 50-year-olds differently.
I think you look beautiful. And from Roger's crew, all of us at Roger's studio, from our viewers, and from myself, Veronique, a very special, happy, belated 50th.
Thank you. I had a wonderful time with friends and family. You know, we enjoyed a great night out at Hennessy's.
Oh, yeah.
And the food was fantastic.
Hot spot
yeah,
now.
Yeah, right here in Miramichi. And just really had a wonderful evening.
Yeah.
So yeah, the food was great. So we have some amazing restaurants here. I really can't complain at all. But anyway, in our last couple of minutes, so we're just about out of time.
Okay.
But huge shout out to Matt Jenkins.
Yay, Matt.
And he's about to be inducted on October 29th to the Wall of Fame, the New Brunswick Wall of Fame. So he is actually still holds the record for most pitching wins.
Yep.
At 58. So he was with the Chatham Ironman for 17 years, and most strikeouts at 711.
Oh my gosh, and he's still a young guy. He's
I
got
think
4
so.
young children.
Yes.
And very active in our community. I see him around. He looks fantastic, and he's a superstar.
Yeah, so really that's, I mean, so exciting for him.
It is.
You know, and that's coming up soon. Now, you know, of course, we're right in the midst of flu season.
I know, and I'm going to keep wearing my mask. I don't care if people think I'm odd or not. I know there's still COVID out there, endless amounts of COVID, but now there's the terrible flu, vomiting, diarrhea, and then there's the really bad cold going around that everyone's getting congestion, and so I'm wearing my mask for the simple reason of protecting myself from that flu and those flus.
Absolutely. Yeah, so anyway, you know, take care of yourself, everybody out there. So don't go too far. We're just heading out to break. Maybe make that warm latte, and we'll see you back in a couple of minutes.
Do you have something to share? Let everyone know about your next meeting, your need for volunteers, or your fundraising event on the Rogers TV Community Billboard. Send us your words and we'll bring them to life on Rogers TV and rogerstv.com. When it's time to spread the word, go to rogerstv.com to add your announcement to the Community Billboard.
Does Your Majesty really agree that your Governor-General, the Queen's own Viceroy in Canada, should be overruled by the elected members?
Yes, Lord Melbourne. We assure you we do agree.
You mean to say that Victoria of Great Britain would give up her royal power to some obscure politician from Montreal or Toronto?
Lord Melbourne, Monsieur Lafontaine and Mr. Baldwin are trying to bring harmony to the colony with this... What do they call it, Lord Melbourne?
Responsible government, ma'am.
Responsible government. Just so. Now, suppose we do not assent, Prime Minister.
Well, that could mean another rebellion in the Canadas.
Responsible government. Our Governor-General controlled by an elected assembly instead of by us. It's a Canadian idea.
Pity, ma'am.
Very well, Lord Melbourne. We think we know what we must do.
Hi, and welcome back to Have a Chat. I am your host today, Veronique Arsenault, joined, of course, by my wonderful co-host, Judy Loge.
Hello.
And now that we've talked all things pumpkin, both on the break and during the last segment, we are so pleased to welcome our next guest to the show. And he is a wonderful colleague, but also an incredible asset and community volunteer, community activist, and community worker. So we are joined by the incomparable Chad Duplessis.
Ah, nice
Thank you,
greeting.
ladies.
Very deserving.
Very nice.
Very deserving welcome. Right on.
mother.
She's right on.
Yeah, we will. We'll. Yeah, I say that to Judy all the time. Tell my mom I'm good. Would you please?
Oh, I think you're both great. Nice to have you here.
Yeah.
Welcome, Chad. We're glad to have you back. You've been on the show before, and although it's been a little bit, so we're glad to have you back in studio. Glad to be back in studio altogether.
I know.
100%.
It's nice.
So of course, Judy and I know you're a great friend of the show, but for those people out there who might not, tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so as you you mentioned colleagues, right? So I sit on city council, and then my 9 to 5 is I am the executive director of Autism Resources Miramichi. Beyond the 9 to 5 and the council work, I got 3 little kids at home, and that keeps me very busy.
No kidding.
So her oldest is in Dr. Loge in
Wow.
middle school, and then the 2 younger girls, Kala and Edie, are in at King Street. So school sports and all of that stuff keeps us going pretty wild, and then
Gosh, I can imagine. And we had one of your children, Edie, on our show.
that's right.
Yes.
She did it virtually because she's a little dynamic actress and poetress and poetess. Is that how you say it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that the word?
Yes.
Anyway, she's a little superstar.
She gave me some hints and tips
Oh, she did
before I
not.
arrived today.
As
that
she
is-
she should.
That is so funny. She's just dynamic.
She did do a great job that day, though.
Yeah.
Cute as a button.
Yeah.
So now you said you are the executive director of the Autism Resources Miramichi. So
That's right.
tell our viewers and us about that. Talk to us about it, your role and what goes on
Yeah, so the organization's been around for a very long time, and those kind of core board members way back when had done a lot of work to get resources established in the province. And back then, resource centers were exactly that. It was a place to go get good resources, kind of pre-internet, right, where autism diagnoses were becoming prevalent, and people were kind of scrambling to get good information and get connected to the right resources, right? So we still do that work. We just do a lot more work. So we do a lot of social and recreation programming. So, for example, we do an autism swim program. Cindy Green, former executive director, still does that work for us. We have a Dungeons and Dragons night for a lot of our clients work on social skills and that sort of thing. We have our youth night, our summer camps, our family camps, art night every second Friday, and then a lot of employment program. A lot of folks coming in the door since I've started, which is about 8 months, are young adults who have just gotten a diagnosis, coming kind of rationalizing a long-standing diagnosis, or have self-diagnosed as autistic. And their 2 kind of main concerns are socialization, especially coming out of the pandemic, is just connecting again, and then employment, trying to break into that workforce that so desperately needs, more people. And we do our best to work with different agencies to get people the right skills and tools to do that work. And we also run a social enterprise, the Book Nook, out of the space.
I love that place.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I didn't know you had that many different things going on.
Yeah.
Like, I knew about Dungeons and Dragons. Where's the swimming held? Is it at Golden Hawk or the Miramichi Valley Pool?
The Golden Hawk.
Yeah.
So the city's been a good supporter of that, both in space and staff, but also funding.
Yes.
It's incredibly, we run a wait list. We run 2 seasons of it in the spring and in the fall. And incredibly important because, especially for little ones with autism, Not all, and that's going to be a theme you'll hear me say a lot, but for some kids with autism, they're drawn to water, and they're also a flight risk. So some kids will run.
Right.
So there's a risk there, right? If you're running towards water, you don't have those core skills of, being able to tread water and all of that stuff, right? So there's a lot of kind of safety considerations that go into that program, and it's super important.
So the city hired lifeguards, like they have to have lifeguards?
Yeah, so all of the instructors, it's one-on-one.
Okay.
Again, big credit to Cindy Green, who's spearheaded this and has brought it to fruition. But yeah, if you pop in, it's Tuesday nights, and it's a bunch of little ones in the pool doing one-on-one instruction with certified lifeguards.
That's amazing. I love it.
So yeah, it certainly accommodates their needs, and it's also just good fun, right?
It is. It is. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm happiest when I'm in a pool, to be honest with you. That was my, growing up, my place where I could get away from everything, and just, and because you can't hear anything, and you get to kind of submerge yourself, both literally and figuratively, in what you're doing, right? So this is a question that I always highlight when I have one of my colleagues on from City Council. So you work a 9 to 5, right? Plus we've got council, which is. It technically termed a part-time gig.
All right.
Technically termed a part-time gig, but all of us on council do work.
That's right.
9 to 5, so to speak. We do. We all do have full-time jobs, so it's we get to fit it all in and try and make that work. And the balance sometimes is tough, I'm sure, especially with the young kids. I know I don't have kids, so I don't have that component, but it's I always want to talk a little bit about that, because people don't often realize what being on city council means in the day-to-day.
It is, and it's a matter of finding that balance. For me, this is my second term, so 6 years in, and it's changed, right? Like, you can only give so much of yourself, right? So you do have to kind of protect some time, especially in social media, right? Like, the more you kind of put yourself out there, the more you're available. People will kind of ask things of you and that sort of thing. So it's that's why we're in it. We're in it to be busy. We're in it to help. We're in it to be available. But it's a matter of balance and just kind of being able to turn yourself off at times, and I almost said turn yourself on at times. And then I did say.
And I totally get that.
It's a Monday. We needed that, Chad. Yeah.
It's all in context,
Tune
right?
in and be turned on.
It's all in context. It's all in context. But,
but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So the Autistic Resource Miramichi offers a work placement program, and I don't know a whole lot about that, so you're going to tell us about it.
Sure. Like you said, certainly in the last few months, it's been a long-standing thing, but certainly in the last few months, we've seen a lot of young adults come in looking for employment. So right now, we're working to do a workplace essential skills program that we're hosting on site. We've done a number of these in relation with Working New Brunswick, where we bring in our clients, folks with autism, the people that are on the spectrum, and learn those workplace essential skills in a way that's accommodating, right? And then speaking of accommodations, a lot of what we have to do is work with employers to recognize the right to be accommodated, what that looks like in terms of dialogue, right? Is this enough for you? Do you need help? So for a lot of our folks, well, not a lot, but many, having like a set schedule is super important. Having like visual reminders is super important. And but everyone's different, right? And especially there's a really good saying in autism advocacy is that if you've met one person with autism, that means that you've met one person with autism.
Right.
Okay.
Meaning that, if we understand a spectrum, and everyone kind of fits at a different place in that spectrum, some people may share some characteristics, but not all characteristics. So it's always a matter of working with the employers and developing an upskilling. And then for us, the Book Nook has always been a really good anchor for that, right? Is providing not only an opportunity to work, but an opportunity to learn new skills. And we collaboratively try to build that business case so we can keep people employed.
What age now do they have to be to go through the training program?
18 and older, right?
Okay.
And that's because of the partnership with Working New Brunswick, and that's their criteria that they have to meet.
Well, and it's really interesting because I've worked for the federal government now for the last 5 years, and when I was still with the Miramichi Pay Center, that was a wonderful partnership that we had, and we had many of the students that are going through your program come in and do work terms through the Pay Center. And at one point when Cindy was still with autism, she came in and actually did an awareness session for us on how we can better support, as the employees come through the program, but also come to work for the Pay Center or the Fed or the government or whatever it may be, in a permanent capacity. So it was really interesting actually for us. We did it over a couple of days, and we did multiple sessions. And Cindy, said that if you've met one person with autism, you've met one person with autism.
Really important to be educated on all of that too. To have those awareness sessions. We need to learn a lot, and I need to learn more about it. And you did. So.
Yeah, it was really helpful for us because oftentimes we hear that word accommodate, and we think it has to be something grand and expensive and complicated, and oftentimes it's not. It can be at times where it is a little bit more complicated, but oftentimes it can be just okay, we have a set schedule, right? Or whatever.
It's organization's key, like to get things down.
Or the ability to wear headphones at times when that office environment can become really loud and disruptive for all of us, right? So being able to put those headphones on to be able to tune some of that out.
Calming, I see that. That's good information.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I like it.
Yeah, I love it. So let's talk a little bit about your own volunteering in the community and why that's always been important to you.
I guess it's you care about your community, right? And I guess it's just that idea that I guess I go back to when I first moved home. So I lived in Fredericton for 11 years or so, went to university, got a job, bought a house, all of that kind of thing. And then moving home, those opportunities to get involved were so it was kind of this idea that if you want something, you have to make it. And just as a person that's creative and doesn't mind getting my hands dirty and getting involved, it just provided so much joy to me that I got to put my hands on projects and see them to fruition. And then eventually you just build a network and you get good at it, and then it just becomes a lot easier, and then it maybe becomes a bit of an addiction that you can't not be busy, right? So you're always looking for projects. I just thoroughly enjoy it, and my work too, my work always kind of feels like volunteer work in that way. It's always community oriented. But at the end of the day, my employment has provided me opportunities to do community work and to get involved, right? So always involved in cool projects, but often it's part of my employment.
So our viewers are listening, and I'm listening because, and Veronique, of course, leads a very packed schedule from Monday to Friday and all weekend long. So for the viewers that are maybe like you out there that you said have a full-time job and have other huge commitments, like as a city council, like you said, it's not just, this part-time thing, it's taking calls and speaking to people and getting back to them on social media. Plus then you are with your children, you have to have home time with your wife, and you have to have volunteer schedules, fitted in for their activities. So can you just talk to us a little bit about how we can find that personal balance in our life? Do you work out? Do you go for walks? Do you like music? What do you do, Chad, to give us an idea of how you can improve yourself or myself or anyone watching their daily life? And because people get overwhelmed in this day and age.
100%. It's a big question. I mean, for me, I have it literally tattooed on my arm. And that's a reminder. So that symbolizes work and love. So when those two things are synergized and when they're moving in the same direction, it makes sense for me, right? So,
cool.
For my example, I got involved in a political campaign back in the spring, and that was all encompassing. It was every hour, it was every minute, but it was the same thing for my family and my kids. It was all encompassing. So we're all in it together. So same with my work. We had done some work stuff yesterday. It's a Sunday, but my son came along with me, right? So for me, it's a matter of working on the things you love and loving your work. So those two things, when those go hand in hand, that it works, it's synergized. And when one thing is going and the other isn't going, then I stop and I reevaluate. And for me, it's trying to get that kind of connection between work and love, and loving your work and working on the things you love.
And support from your family. Your wife is amazing. She's a great little mom, and then you have your parents and her parents. And so I think that's so important to have extended relations to kind of, if you need your kids looked after for something that's all important that you and your wife have to go to, or you have to be a counsel and she has to be don't that you have that. And we're just very blessed. I am to have that as well.
And a lot of people don't. Right? A lot of the families we work with at the Autism Resource Center don't have that. So I know respite care has become a real big issue for us, where even when people have the funding, they just don't have the network to go find someone to provide the childcare.
Help out.
It's tough, and I know even for families that are well established and working, and income isn't an issue necessarily. They don't have that support system. So I think as a community, a lot of us are really connected, but just reminding ourselves that there's folks that aren't connected, and always kind of expand our network as whenever we can, right? So
I love that tattoo. Give it a flash for the camera again. So when did you get inspired and when did you get it done?
When I first ran for politics.
Yeah.
That was
In 2016.
2016?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's really nice. I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's and that that's the challenge too, and you've touched on it because a couple of friends have children with complex needs, right? Whether they be medical diagnoses or whatever it may be, and it's not necessarily finding the funding to get that support because there is respite care funding that is available. It's finding actually the people or the resources to be able to find that, get that support.
100%.
Yeah, it's a challenge, right? Because especially if you have a small child with complex needs, you can't just leave them with anyone.
No,
right?
I know. I
Because
wouldn't as a parent.
It's it's overwhelming anyway. So then when you add in those medical needs or whatever it may be, and it becomes prohibitive.
Yeah, and like for autistic families, like divorce rate is higher.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Poverty is often associated, especially with transitioning to adult years.
Yeah.
Food insecurity is higher for adults with autism. So there's a real compoundingness that happens with autism, and for some, again, not all.
Yeah, absolutely.
But there's certainly the potential to have social issues be compounded. So we're kind of there to build community the same as you build any community. It just so happens that our community has autism or has someone in their family that has autism.
Right.
Yeah.
And just for volunteers, as we talk, we're about to close the segment here, but for volunteers, you don't have to be like us. You don't have to be, all or nothing where it's, all encompassing. It has become that in a lot of cases for most of us where, we're involved, and that is, I've said it often, where I get my energy from, right? Because I get my drive and my energy from that. But if you have an hour a month, a couple hours a month, a couple hours a week, you can still be a phenomenal and valued volunteer.
Yep. And advice on that too is if you are going to an organization that's looking, kind of evaluate what do I want to bring to the table and offer that.
Yeah.
I'd like to do this for you at this much time, and kind of put it on the table. And then obviously Volunteer Miramichi is a really good agency in our community that does exactly that work. So,
So I'm sure our listeners will be trying to find that extra hour, or like you said, 2 a month, and you feel valuable when you volunteer. You feel like you're serving a purpose when you get out there and do something for no pay.
Yeah.
It's like helping. I just help someone do something, and you go home feeling good. They go home feeling good.
Yeah.
I love to volunteer.
And it can be overwhelming too,
Yeah.
especially when you move to a new community and you don't know anybody, right? Like when I first moved home, I had family, and that was great, but I didn't really have a social network.
No.
So it gives an opportunity to have that connection. So don't go too far. We have an amazing last segment that you'll learn so much. So grab a snack, grab a beverage, and we'll see you back right after this break.
Molly Johnson.
In the 1850s, many Quebec families adopted Irish orphans, their parents dead of ship's fever on the Atlantic crossing.
Alors Molly, voici ton nouveau père et ta nouvelle mère. Dorénavant, tu porteras le nom fier et historique de Bélanger. Tu es maintenant une petite Canadienne, Molly.
No, we have to keep our Irish name. Mon mère me l'a dit juste avant le serment. We have to pour la mémoire de mon patrie.
Ça, monseigneur, ça me paraît tout à fait acceptable.
Quel est ton nom, mon enfant?
Johnson, Sir Molly Johnson.
Et comment t'appelles-tu, toi?
Patrick. Patrick O'Neill.
Et toi?
Kathleen Ryan.
A century and a half later, many of those names still resound in Quebec.
I'm Mallory, and I was walking home one night when an impaired driver hit me. He had been overserved in 2 bars before getting behind the wheel. If the servers would have called him a cab instead of serving him more alcohol, my life would be the same as what it used to be. I think servers play the biggest role in keeping us safe because it's up to them what state the person's in when they leave. Refusing service isn't personal, it's the law.
Hey sports fans, Chris Gorey back with New Brunswick's favorite sports talk show, Across the Line.
Scores! What a goal! Oh boy, we've got a whale of a game between these two teams.
We're celebrating local talent, past heroes, future generations, New Brunswick's finest, the hottest show on the dial, Across the Line, right here on Rogers TV.
Hello, it's a beautiful Monday, October Monday, and we're here live at Rogers Studio in Miramichi. I'm going to continue our show as your host, Judy Loche, because my beautiful co-host had to step away for a meeting. And now we are greeted by another new face, and a face that we've just been talking to and had a great chat to, Chad DePlacy.
Yeah.
I loved our conversation with Veronique and you and I. And now we're going to welcome Ethan Legacy on the set.
Hi, it's a pleasure to be here.
Welcome. And you know Chad, so this is just like sitting around our kitchen table.
Yep.
Comfy cozy. But Ethan, I don't know you at all, unfortunately. I hope to get to know you for the next little bit. For those of the viewers who have never met you before, tell us a little bit about yourself personally.
My full name is Ethan Richard Legacy. I'm 21 years old. I have 4 siblings, 3 half-sisters and a twin brother. We don't look alike.
No.
Just to establish that first.
Yes. And where did you grow up, may I ask?
I grew up in Bathurst.
In Bathurst. Did you speak French?
I wish I did.
Okay. But you can always learn French.
I most certainly can, yes.
You know, mine's limited. I used to do really well. I took it all through, like, you know, school, not as in French immersion, but in a class every day from like elementary right up until high school. Then I took it a bit in university, and I'm pretty good to speak French, but not fluent, let's just say. But I'd love to learn more, and there's always that opportunity. So, Ethan, tell us a bit about the bookstore that you're involved in.
Oh, the Book Nook is right next to the Calico Cafe. It's a wonderful place. We sell donated books. We take them in, we sort through them and make sure
that, like, there's certain categories in there, right?
Yes,
like when I donate, I love that store, by the way. When I go in, there's like romance sections or there's mystery. I love thrillers myself. I really kind of am drawn to the mystery. There's fiction, nonfiction, everything in that Book Nook, and it's so well organized. So are you there helping to organize or put books in the certain sections, or what is it that you do specifically?
Essentially, we
take the books from the customer.
Yes.
Yes.
We take the book from the customer and we sort through them through romance, through thriller, through all these different genres that we have. We
like crime and war and all of that.
Yes.
Yes. And then the pricing, like, so then it has to be like, how much are the books? They vary depending on a hardcover thick book or like a thin novel?
Yes.
All right, so can you give us an idea about the pricing range?
Usually our hard books start around $6. The bigger that they are, the length, usually they can go from 6 to 8. The soft covers start around 4.
Wow.
They're usually smaller. We can price them down a little bit. The kids' books always start around 1. And we have a deal where if you want to, you can fill a drawstring bag full of kids' books for $10.
Yeah.
I've not been in the kids section for some reason. I should think about that. I don't know any little children that, in my own personal life, that would be reading books because I'm old and my kids are old and Aaron's old. But my friends will be watching and the viewers will be listening and learning that there is quite a big children's section in the books.
Yes, there is quite a bit. We have so many children's books. That's the main reason why we have the drawstring deal.
Yep. Yeah. And I love walking in there. When I walk in there,
it's such a nice environment.
It's such a nice space. Beautiful ambiance in there.
It's very warm.
Cozy. And then over in the corner with the Calico Cafe, you have your sofa sets,
Yes.
coffee tables. It feels like you're in a big living room with bookshelves, like your own little personal library.
Yeah. I remember the first time I went inside, the environment just felt so warm. I felt so moved. It was such a nice place to just be in.
Can you tell us the hours of operation there? So it's closed. One day I went to take off books, because I love to donate there.
Which day was it that we are no longer
Yeah,
open?
so we're 10 to 5 Monday to Friday.
Okay.
We were open on Saturdays,
Yes.
but we needed to roll back some of those hours. The truth of it is, so the operation for Autism Resources is it's cost neutral, right? So the money we bring in, the books we sell, creates employment opportunities for folks with autism. So the more books we sell, the more employment opportunities.
Yeah.
And the other side of that is when sales go down, unfortunately, like any business, hours have to kind of be monitored, right? So we weren't able to kind of maintain the weekend hours, but we do have a self-serve, right? Like keeping up with all the trends.
Yeah.
So we do have a self-serve kind of station. So if someone does come in on a Saturday or a Sunday, they can help themselves and lead the exact change, and all is very good.
One thing I will say, and I have been around a long time, and I've been to many, many places, and even in many, many countries, bookstores, because it's one of my favorite things in the world are books. I'm a bookaholic. It's extremely well organized. I want to give you that, a big pat in the back, because you just say, and the help is amazing. The staff's amazing. They're right there to take my books like that, and then they're just so helpful when I drop off my books. They're quick to take them and sort them and all that. I just absolutely love it. Chad, when I was coming here this afternoon, I was listening to the radio.
Yes.
I had 95.9 tuned in, and I do love 99.3, and the other Life station as well. But they were talking about the amazing race.
That's right.
Now, I heard little whispers of it. Veronique, who was here earlier, had talked offset about it, going to be so exciting, but we want details.
Totally. Well, we're here to give details. So Ethan and I have been on the planning committee for the Amazing Race. It's going to be a huge fundraiser for us. That's the hope, right?
Okay.
So the way it works is, you'll see our branding there, the Amazing Race. Obviously, it's an allusion to the hit TV show.
Love it.
But the way it works is, if you go on our website, autismmiramichi.ca, www.autismmiramichi.ca, you'll find there are 5 teams. So we have 5 teams from the community that are doing a 16-kilometer course with 8 different challenges, and they're raising money. So the top fundraiser, like any kind of pledge, walkathon kind of thing, but the top fundraiser will get a substantial head start on the race. So that's how we're looking to kind of get the community to support us, by making donations to sponsor one of the teams. But it has to be said too, on the day of the event, we have our friends and family Amazing Race as well. So people can register that day, and in partnership with the Downtown Newcastle Business District, there'll be 6 little challenge stations around the downtown core.
Okay.
That friends and families will pick up their passport and go around and get them checked off, and then a completed passport gets entered in to win prizes. All that being said, our day starts with a breakfast at 9 a.m. at the Kin Center, $10, pancakes, sausage, fruit, tea and coffee and all of those good things. So we're really looking to create an opportunity for the autism community to get involved as volunteers, for our young families to come out to have breakfast, but the community at large to take part as well, and try to raise a little bit of money in the meantime. And all of those funds go to support a lot of those recreation and social programs that we were talking about earlier.
That's just fantastic. Now, I am not a TV girl. Like, I tune in to certain things, and I have seen, of course, The Amazing Race, but is that one of your favorite shows?
I have not ever watched it.
Okay, but you're
so
still...
I think I'm missing out.
No, but so what, that being said, as his words were earlier, this is exciting for you then, because it's all new, right? And are you an Amazing Race guy? Like, are you tuned into that when you can be?
I do, and I think it's been many, many seasons now, but especially like the Canadian version of it, which our mayor has helped direct some episodes of it, so we get some inside knowledge there.
So cool.
But it's really cool just to see like Canadian towns highlighted. So I really get a kick out of that show, and it certainly was the impetus of this idea. And I do got to give credit to Downtown Newcastle Business Association, who brought the idea to us, specifically Tiffany Gallivan and Valiant Modern Media, who built their beautiful new website,
Yes, yes.
autismmiramichi.ca. Check it out, make a donation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, this doesn't happen alone. We know that. You
No.
have this young gentleman who has
Yeah.
really been hugely involved, and thank
Yep.
you for being part of this exciting new venture and first time Miramichi activity.
Yeah.
So tell us about the support and sponsors and how you had to start somewhere and sit around the table, but then you had to have all these other people come on board. So talk to us about that.
Yeah, 100%. And it starts with the sponsors, right? Like once you get the business community involved, so our gold medal sponsors are New Maritime Beer, Don't Diss My Ability, which is a disability advocacy group out of St. John. Sean Smith is
Sean,
his name.
yes.
Super.
He is.
So he's come on as a gold medal sponsor. Greco Pizza, and then also the Newcastle Business District. And then we have our silver medal sponsors and our bronze medal sponsors as well. You can find that information on the website. But once we get those, we start building the website. And we had some, it was a quick turnaround. We planned all this in about 6 weeks.
Holy.
And there's still need for volunteers. So if anyone's interested, you can show up. We'll put a t-shirt on you and we'll get you involved that morning. And there's a volunteer forum on the website, all of those good things. But
So the t-shirts, basically that kind of a look, they have that logo on it.
yeah, super sharp. There's black ones and yellow ones. Our racers and our course volunteers will be wearing the yellow ones, so you'll see them around town.
Yeah.
If you see our racers going that day, make sure to give them a honk and cheer them on. And they're going by your house, come out the doorstep and give them a wave.
Okay.
And so it's going to be super exciting. And we're looking to kind of just create a new kind of community event that is kind of supported by the autism community, right?
I love it. It's a huge community event.
Yeah.
So what age groups and what fitness levels would this incorporate? Like
So-
would I be one of those people that could be in this?
So our racers, and we were never, we wanted it to be as accessible as possible. But certainly our 5 teams of racers, like Kobe Jardine is racing.
Oh, yeah,
He just
they're
just ran a marathon in Chicago.
Yeah, okay, they're really fit.
We have the spin people and the
right.
CrossFit people. So that wasn't by design, but we were super happy to get them. But a 16-kilometer bike course isn't easy, so it certainly leans into that. But our friends and family event, which registers that morning, that's as easy peasy as it comes. There'll just be some silly games, walking around the square and downtown.
And supporting those elite athletes. I guess that you answered my question. I'm going to be an observer.
Yeah.
Ethan, you are so an ambassador with this, and you're highly involved in the Autism, the Book Nook, and I love it all, and you must love it too. So what else, is there anything else that you would like to see yourself become involved in? Because Chad was on our earlier segment with Veronique and I, talking about so many different, things that are under the umbrella, right? And so what other things, he talked about swimming, and Chad, you might want to just, jog my memory again, because I'm wondering what else Ethan might like to be part of.
There are plenty of things I would like to be part of. Most notably, I would love to be a part of the mental health awareness. Mental health and autism has a very close ties, and it's something that a lot of people don't seem to recognize.
Yeah.
And I think it deserves a lot more awareness, a lot more acceptance, and it's something I would really like to advocate for.
Yeah.
I'm with you, so with you.
Yeah.
And Veronique's really, really passionate about that. Chad, you are as well.
Yeah.
You and I and Veronique have talked about a project that we didn't kind of get unfolded yet. We talked about it, met about it, and there's still room to grow on that.
100%.
We won't talk about it on the show because it might be something that we can bring to the set someday and share with our viewers. But so do you find, so you're 21.
Yes.
Now, do you find a lot of your age group, having been through COVID in particularly the last 2.5 years, have struggled and are struggling more so with mental health issues?
I would say so, yeah. I know a friend in particular, he used to be a social butterfly, but ever since COVID, he's a lot more nervous around other people, to the point where he doesn't like to sit down in restaurants.
Okay. Socially uptight, nervous, and Do you find, like, if you were struggling with that, are you thinking that, what would you like to see? What would you like to see? Another center? I know we need funding for mental health, if Canada-wide and beyond. Every country needs more awareness and resources for mental health. But locally, do you find there's people that you would feel comfortable reaching out to or going to, services or friends or school?
I'm not very aware of many of the services that we have locally. All I'm really aware of is that the services from the hospital, but I wish there was a lot more services in general. We certainly do need a lot more.
What about you? I know there's mental health.
Yeah.
And I know there are a lot of new workers there, but they're just overcapacitated sometimes because of this problem we're just talking about.
Yeah.
The youth I find that I've talked to, I work as an interact liaison with the Rotary Club of Chatham, and I go into the high school when I can. It's been really tough with COVID and I haven't been able to for a while, but I work with the teenagers there that are the junior Rotarians basically of the high school. And like the teachers were saying, they are dealing with so much in this day and age, like young people like yourself.
Especially, what was it, for my age group in particular, because I graduated before COVID hit, and then I go into the workforce, and then all of a sudden, my young adult life just is in shambles.
Exactly. My son was there too. He went through university, and then all of a sudden it was like he couldn't be with his friends. And he was 21, so at that time it was like, or 21, something. And he said, you know, Mom, this is so tough because he's like me, he's very social. And even if you're not social, that's what makes you feel more comfortable in life, is to be with other people, right? So if you're a shy type of person or introverted more so, then you want to be around someone like me. But we couldn't see each other, we couldn't be together, right? But I mean, what would you like to see? I know City Council has things in place too, and you're always working on initiatives, and
yeah, I think
it's growing.
I think for me it goes to prevention, and it's creating those opportunities and creating opportunities for people to connect and come out and socialize and share, right? I think there's, you know, that access to vulnerability, right? Of, you know, telling your story, sharing your story, letting people kind of share their story. I think it's everything.
I do too.
I think the more we do that, the more questions we ask, right? You know, those little, like, you know, messenger text message you can send someone, hey, just checking in on you. How you doing today?
Yeah.
I think it makes the world a difference, right? Like,
I do too.
I think we've all been at our highs and lows, and we're quick to forget about the lows, especially when we're not in them.
Yes.
But when we are in a good place, I think we owe it to people to just to check in and say what's up.
And you feel free to check in too. You can get my name. I'm always available. I have people check in all the time. It's just nice to know there's at least one person in your corner that you can say, I know she's there, or he's there for me. He's one of the other guys. So before we close our show and say goodbye, it just goes by so fast, to register again for your event, for the Amazing Race, can we just wrap up with that? 100%. And if you need any volunteers.
Yeah. So www.autismmiramichi.ca, check it out. The event's there, but I would encourage people to come out for breakfast. So 9 a.m., Kin Center, come out and you might meet some folks from the autism community, and certainly we'll all kind of have some fellowship and eat some breakfast and raise a good cause, and then stay around for a while.
And could you give that date again, Chad?
October 22nd.
October 22nd is what day of the week?
This Saturday.
It's this coming weekend.
This Saturday.
Okay, and I think it's going to be a nice weekend too. We're going to get our rain out of the way.
Fingers crossed.
And no, it's looking good. It's looking good.
Yeah.
Any last things?
Nothing in particular.
Okay, then we are done of our show. Thank you very much, Ethan Legacy, and of course, Chad DuPlessis. We wish you all a great week. Thank you for our wonderful guests, for being here with Veronique and I, and have a lovely, safe, healthy week. Bye for now.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.
I was born and raised in Musqueam First Nation territory by my mother, who spoke Hunkaminam to me. As a child, I ceased using my mother tongue, as to use any language other than English was considered not being Canadian, so I was told. The old people came to me in a dream and reminded me of who I am and where I come from. I have reawakened. My roots are strong, and I'm no longer a silent speaker. My language tells me where I'm from. It defines me and guides me to teach others to learn and understand our culture and traditions. A gift for those in the present and the unborn generations. What was lost is found. What was asleep has awakened. My blood is here, and I am complete. I have returned home.
Hi, I'm Terry Sege. I have a new home at Rogers TV, where I'll be talking to New Brunswick politicians about the issues that affect you. The Panel with Terry Sege on Rogers TV.
yo, yo.